In this video series, we will be recapping one of the most highly discussed updates in Huntington's disease research. A few weeks ago, uniQure announced positive results from their gene therapy trial testing AMT-130 for lowering of the huntingtin protein. In Huntington's disease, the huntingtin gene contains an expanded stretch of repetitive DNA, leading to a dysfunctional extra-long protein that is thought to damage brain cells. Several pharmaceutical companies are attempting to lower the production of the huntingtin protein as a therapy for HD. uniQure have developed AMT-130, which is packaged inside a harmless virus and delivered to the brain directly via surgery. Their approach is a one-shot therapy to deliver the antidote to the brain with the aim of permanently lowering huntingtin levels rather than needing to take medication every day. In their Phase 1/2 trial in the US, 29 individuals with HD received AMT-130. 12 were given a low dose, while 17 received the high dose of AMT-130, and all participants were tracked for 3 years. The trial measured disease progression using the composite Unified Huntington's Disease Rating Scale. The CUHDRS is a collection of sensitive measures that assess how well people with HD are functioning day to day through memory, movement, thinking skills, and mood tests. In the latest data release, individuals who received the high dose of AMT-130 showed 75% slowing in disease progression as measured by the CUHDRS, and the trial met its primary endpoint, a predetermined goal set before the trial started. Besides slowing disease progression, individuals who received AMT-130 also had lowered neurofilament light chain levels than when they started. NFL is a protein that is released when brain cells are stressed or damaged, making it an important biomarker for HD progression. There were no serious side effects, and AMT-130 seems to be generally well tolerated, with the most common side effects linked to the surgical procedure itself. Overall, the results are incredibly positive news and showcase for the first time in a human trial that a potential treatment could alter the course of HD. While the data from the trial is promising, it is not conclusive. The trial results only indicate that the individuals given high-dose AMT-130 show signs that the treatment might be able to slow disease progression. Also, Phase 1/2 trials are kept to a small number of participants by design to limit treatments being given to many patients without strong evidence backing them up. The current data being presented is only from 12 individuals from the high-dose group that were followed to the 3-year mark. Trials need larger numbers of individuals to evoke more confidence that the results are not simply by chance, and the treatment is working for a lot of people who are different biologically and may be at different stages of disease. The other important caveat for the initial results is the comparator group. Normally, trials have 2 groups of individuals, one that receives the treatment and one that receives a mock treatment called a placebo. In this trial, after the first year, there was no placebo group, and the treatment group was compared against data from Enroll-HD, an observational study that follows people with HD as they naturally live and age. This approach is potentially less rigorous, since placebo effects and increased medical attention can influence results where people think they're getting better, despite not receiving the actual treatment. However, this approach is more ethical for early-stage gene therapy. Natural history comparisons can suggest benefits, but can't yet robustly prove the treatment's true effectiveness. It's important to stay level-headed. This is the first step, and there's a long way to go until individuals with HD can begin to receive the treatment. There has also been extensive media coverage on the news, and some of it can be overhyped and misleading. Some examples of this reporting would refer to the trial results as HD being successfully treated, or that a breakthrough cure had been found. This is not the case. A cure implies that someone who once had HD no longer has the disease, but there is no data yet to indicate a complete elimination of symptoms. Not all headlines were exaggerating the results, and several articles represented the results as preliminary and as a cause for hope. Science is rarely black and white, especially in earlier stages of testing a treatment, and it is important to have realistic interpretations of results. So what happens next? uniQure was aiming for accelerated regulatory approval, which is different from a fully approved treatment. Treatments that receive accelerated approval can be marketed, with the understanding that more data will be collected from larger trials with more individuals, and the drug can be pulled if it stops working as expected. However, uniQure recently announced that the FDA was no longer in alignment with the accelerated regulatory approval plan. The FDA is responsible for approving new treatments in the USA. The primary issue seems to be the use of the external control group, or data from Enroll-HD, rather than an actual placebo group. It's important to keep in mind that the trial data hasn't changed, and it is likely a misalignment between the regulatory body and uniQure. As uniQure works to clarify next steps with the FDA, regulatory discussions are continuing in Europe and the United Kingdom. There remain many questions on what the future will look like for AMT-130. Making AMT-130 available to large numbers of people with HD will be a challenge. This treatment also involves an invasive procedure in the brain to deliver a permanent treatment which comes with risks. The availability, eligibility for the treatment and cost will also vary from country to country. While the initial trial results are encouraging, a lot more work needs to be done before we have a treatment. We will be updating you on each and every advance in therapy as it comes along. Importantly, we wouldn't have these encouraging results without the brave participants who were first dosed with AMT-130. The HD community is deeply grateful for their courage, which opened the door for other people to participate in the testing of this therapy.